Every time you buy a coffee, a tank of gas, or a bag of groceries, Visa and MasterCard take a cut. Not from you directly, from the merchant. Somewhere between 2 and 3% of whatever you just paid gets routed through the payment network to the bank that issued your card. That fee is called interchange. And in 2023 alone, merchants paid over $34 billion in interchange fees just on debit card transactions. Credit card interchange is even higher. You've probably never thought about this fee. It happens invisibly behind the register before the receipt prints. But here's what the Federal Reserve discovered when they traced where that money actually goes. The credit card reward system, the points, the miles, the cashback, creates a $15 billion annual wealth transfer from lower income Americans to higher income Americans, not from banks to customers, from one group of customers to another. And if you've never earned enough points to feel like you're winning the rewards game, you're almost certainly on the losing side of that transfer. If you've ever looked at your 2% cashback and thought, at least I'm getting something back, this video will show you exactly why that math doesn't work the way you think it does, and what the payment networks are counting on you never calculating. You'll learn the specific mechanism that moves money from people who carry balances to people who don't, how merchants pass interchange costs to everyone, including people who pay cash, and how to position yourself on the right side of this system instead of quietly subsidizing someone else's first-class flight. Let's start with what interchange actually is, because the structure matters. When you swipe, tap, or insert a credit card, the transaction flows through a four-party system. You, the cardholder, your bank, the issuer, the merchant, and the merchant's bank, called the acquirer. Sitting on top of all of it is the network, Visa or MasterCard, which sets the rules and the fees. The merchant pays a processing fee on every transaction. A significant portion of that fee is interchange, which flows back to your bank, the issuer. In the U.S., credit card interchange averages about 2.2% of the transaction value. For a $100 grocery run, the store pays roughly $2.20 before you've walked out the door. Now, here's the part that connects to your wallet, even if you never see the fee. Merchants don't absorb that cost. They can't. On thin retail margins, a 2% fee is the difference between profit and loss. So they do what any business would do. They raise prices across the board for everyone, whether you're paying with a premium rewards card, a basic debit card, or cash. This is what economists call the credit card tax. Federal Reserve research from the Philadelphia Fed confirms that interchange fees are passed through to retail prices. Every item on every shelf in every store reflects, in part, the cost of processing card payments, and that cost is not split proportionally based on how you pay. It's averaged across all customers. So the person paying cash for a $5 gallon of milk is paying a price that includes the interchange fee generated by the person behind them using a Sapphire Reserve. The cash customer gets no rewards, no points, no miles. They just pay the inflated price. And the rewards card holder gets 3% back on that same milk. That is the transfer. It happens billions of times per day. And it is structural. Now let's look at who actually wins and who loses inside the reward system itself. Because it's not just cash users subsidizing card users. It's happening within card users too. The Federal Reserve Board published a landmark study using data from over 200 million U.S. credit card accounts. The researchers, Agarwal, Presbitero, Silva, and Wicks calculated something they called net rewards, the dollar value of rewards earned minus the interest and fees paid, and then they sorted those net rewards by FICO score. The results are stark. If your FICO score is above 780, the super prime tier, you earn on average $16 to $20 per month more in rewards than you pay in interest and fees. You are profiting from the system. If your score is between 720 and 780, you're roughly breaking even, earning a little, paying a little. The system feels neutral to you. But if your score is below 720, and that includes the majority of American adults, you are losing money. Near prime cardholders, those between 660 and 720, lose on average $6.80 per month. Subprime cardholders below 660 lose between $2.56 and $12.80 per month, every month, whether they know it or not. Added up nationally, and the aggregate transfer is $15.1 billion per year, flowing from subprime and near-prime neighborhoods, which tend to be less educated, lower income, and disproportionately minority, to super prime neighborhoods. The Federal Reserve's own data shows this. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's the math of how the incentive structure works. Let me show you why this happens, because the mechanism is important. Banks offer rewards cards with a deliberate trade-off. They set the interest rate on rewards cards slightly lower than on non-rewards cards. That sounds like a benefit. And for people who pay their balance in full every month, it is. They collect the rewards, pay zero interest, and net positive. The system works beautifully for them. But the study found that rewards cards are also designed to stimulate spending. When banks initiate a credit limit increase on a rewards card, all consumers spend more. That's the intended effect. But what happens next is where the split occurs. Sophisticated cardholders, the ones with high FICO scores, spend more and continue paying off their balance. They capture the rewards without the cost. Less sophisticated cardholders, and the researchers use FICO as a proxy for financial sophistication, not income, also spend more. But they carry the balance. They pay interest, they incur fees, and the interest and fees they pay exceed the rewards they earn. They are net losers in the system. And it gets worse. The study found that when these cardholders have multiple cards, they follow what the researchers call a balance matching heuristic. Instead of paying off the highest interest card first, which would minimize total cost, they distribute payments roughly evenly across all cards. This suboptimal repayment strategy costs them additional money every single month, and the banks know this pattern exists. They've studied it, they model for it, it's part of the revenue forecast. So who is really paying for your cash back? Here's the full picture. Two people walk into the same grocery store, same items, same total, $150. Person A has a 790 FICO score and a premium rewards card. They pay in full every month. They earn $4.50 in cash back on this trip. They will never pay a cent of interest. At the end of the year, they've netted roughly $200 in rewards across all their spending. Free money feels great. Person B has a 680 FICO score and a basic rewards card. They carry a balance, as the majority of American cardholders do. They earn maybe $1.50 in rewards on the same $150 trip, but this month they'll also pay $28 in interest on their rolling balance and possibly a late fee. Their net rewards this month are negative $27, and the prices they paid for those groceries were slightly higher because the store built Person A's interchange fee into every price tag. Person A profits, Person B subsidizes Person A's profit, pays inflated prices, carries the balance, and loses. Same store, same day, different outcomes, not because of income, but because of how the payment architecture distributes costs and benefits. Multiply Person B by 100 million cardholders, and you get the $15 billion annual transfer. Now, none of this means you should cut up your credit cards. That's not the point. The system exists. Opting out entirely means you lose the fraud protection, the purchase protections, and the convenience of card payments, which are real benefits. The goal is to stop being on the losing side of the redistribution and start being on the winning side, or at minimum to stop losing without knowing it. Here's how. First, never carry a balance on a rewards card. This is the single most important rule. The moment you pay interest on a rewards card, the math flips against you. A card that earns 2% cash back but charges 24% APR on a carried balance is not a rewards card. It's a debt instrument with a marketing department. If you can't pay the statement balance in full every month, a rewards card is costing you money, not earning it. Second, if you carry balances, use the lowest rate card, not the highest reward card. The Federal Reserve study found that banks deliberately offer lower APRs on rewards cards to incentivize their use. But for cardholders who carry balances, the total cost, interest plus fees minus rewards, is almost always higher on the rewards card than on a plain low APR card. Chase the lowest interest rate, not the highest cashback percentage. Third, pay the highest rate card first. If you have multiple cards, stop distributing payments evenly. The balance matching heuristic that the Federal Reserve identified costs you money every month. List your cards by interest rate. Pay the minimum on everything except the highest rate card. Put every extra dollar on that one. When it's gone, move to the next. The math is not complicated. The habit is what people get wrong. Fourth, track your net rewards, not your gross rewards. Your credit card app will happily show you how many points you've earned. It will never show you your net rewards. Rewards minus interest minus fees. Do that calculation yourself once a quarter. If the number is negative, the card is not rewarding you. It's billing you for the illusion of being rewarded. Fifth, if you pay cash or use debit for most purchases, recognize the surcharge you're absorbing. You are paying interchange inflated prices without receiving any of the rewards funded by those prices. This doesn't mean you should switch to credit. Carrying a balance would make it worse. But it does mean you should look for merchants who offer cash discounts. Use debit at stores that separate pricing, and understand that the sticker price is not the cash price in an economy where 82% of transactions run through card networks. The credit card reward system is not broken. It's working exactly as designed. It's a two-sided market where the network connects merchants and consumers through banks, and everyone in the chain profits, as long as someone at the bottom pays more than they earn. For 40 years, that someone has been the card holder who carries a balance, pays the late fee, and chases the points without calculating the net. The $15 billion transfer doesn't happen through fraud or deception. It happens through architecture. The fee is invisible. The rewards are visible. And the gap between what you see and what you pay is where the money moves. The people who build wealth in this system are not the people with the fanciest cards. They're the people who understand the structure well enough to never be on the wrong side of it. They pay in full. They ignore the points marketing, they track net rewards, not gross rewards, and they treat every free financial product as a question. Free for whom? You now know the answer. What you do with that knowledge is the only part that changes your trajectory. I'm not a financial advisor, lawyer, therapist, or any other licensed professional. The content on this channel is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Everything shared here reflects my personal opinions and should not be taken as financial, investment, legal, medical, or relationship advice. Any stories, examples, or characters used are composite illustrations meant to explain ideas, not to represent real people or specific situations. Real-life outcomes vary widely because everyone's circumstances are different, and any statistics referenced may come from studies with limitations and may not apply to every individual. Always do your own research and consider your full situation before making important decisions. When needed, consult a qualified professional who understands your personal circumstances.